Financials look good.
We'll call the meeting to order. This is the September 15, 2015 regular board meeting of the Frankfort Plant Board. Ask Dana if she could call the roll of members, please.
Member Ludwig.
Here.
Member West.
Present.
Member Green.
Here.
Member Rickey.
Present.
Member McGrath.
Present.
Okay, all 5 board members are here this evening. We have an item on the agenda, number 1, action item. Consider approving minutes of the August 18, 2015 board meeting. All the members of the board have been furnished with the minutes prepared by Kathy. And I think you had a couple little items that you corrected, changed.
She corrected,
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second for approval. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. All right. Motion passes. Second item on the agenda is also an action item. It's a regular matter. Accept electric, water, and cable financial and statistical data for July 2015 and August 2015. So, David?
Yes, Mr. Ludwig. We had 2 months that we had in the board packet, but I'd like just to focus on where we are, a snapshot of our statement of net position as of August 31st, 2015, and then just do a quick look at where we were through 2 months of the fiscal year as well. So the Frankfort Plant Board, as of August 31st, 2015, had total assets of $148,700,000 against current and long-term liabilities of just over $85 million, raising in a net position for the company of $63.679 million, and that's of August 31st, 2015. If you look at where we are for 2 months of the fiscal year for our electric, water, and cable telecom divisions, we have total revenues of just under $16.5 million against expenses of just under $15 million, bringing our change in net position for the 2 months of this fiscal year to just under $1.6 million for the period, which is above what we had projected and budgeted for the period. I have also included detailed cash and investment statements, as long as company-wide electric, water, and cable detailed statements of net revenues, expenses, and changes in net position. And we'd be glad to go over anything that you might have questions about. I'd also like to go over just a quick reminder that we'll be bringing the board draft audited financial statements for the period ending June 30, 2015 to the next board meeting for your approval. But be glad to answer any questions you may have.
The $16 million, now, I'm thumbing through here quickly now. Did you say electric, water, and cable? Is that on page 19?
Yes, sir, on page 19, the very bottom there, total revenue of just under $16.5 million. That third column of year-to-date actual revenues. We had budgeted $16,045,000, had actuals of $16.5 million, had expense budget of just over $15.9 million, and actually we are under expenses to date of at $14.99 million. So we have a increase in net position for the 2 months ending this fiscal year of just under $1.6 million.
Okay.
Any more questions? Excuse me.
That coming from the cable increase in sales? I mean, is that what it's, is it how we're getting that increase?
Well, the budget to actual change, electric, water, we look at water usage, what we estimate that'll be through 2 months of the fiscal year, what we estimate at the rate of water consumption and what we charge our customers, and also how many customers we have for each line of service for our cable products, and come up with what we think a revenue will be for the period based on our cost, the price that we charge for electric, water, and cable service. So based on our estimates, we thought we would be at just over $16 million in revenue, and actually are doing much better, doing better than that for the period.
All right.
Anything else for David, members? If not, do we have a motion with respect to the submitted reports?
Move for approval.
We have a second.
Second.
We have a So motion second, any discussion? Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carries. Thank you, David. Now we have a monthly matter of information items. That's our departmental reports. First in line is cable.
Yes, sir. Starting with the trouble call outage reports we have for the different lines of services. We had quite a few storms in the month of August that caused this number to be up a little bit more than usual. And you know, if you go to and look at the page 16, what you'll see is that we had a couple of times where we lost power on the Bluegrass Energy side. Had some pretty good outages, and because of that, we've had some longer than expected outages. But we also had some things that really don't show up on this paper as much, is that we had some lightning strikes up at the head end that caused some channel outages too, and we've repaired those damaged components on the satellite dishes themselves. I was talking to Adam about it a couple of weeks ago. Over the course of 1 week, 2 different storms, I think each satellite dish got some damage of some sort. And we had spare units from when we took the old satellite dishes down. Some of the components are interchangeable, so we used some of that old stuff from last year. Thankfully, we had it here, and we've got some more inventory already in. So hopefully those kind of storms are gone for the remainder of this summer and into the fall. Looking at the page that shows where we are as far as subscriptions for the month, we're above where we wanted to be on cable. We're right about even with digital cable. We're up significantly from the budget perspective on broadband. A lot of that has to do with when we put these budgets together in April and May, we estimate what we think we're going to do in May and June as we close out that fiscal year. And quite frankly, we did significantly better in broadband those last couple of months of the last fiscal year than we thought. So our starting place on July 1st was in a much better position than we budgeted for. So we hopefully that will hold true the remainder of the year. We're down a little bit on phone against budget, the same for long distance, and we're in pretty good shape on security, right, almost exactly where we want to be. And VOD is just up and down, mostly down over the summertime, and we'll see how movies go as we get into the fall. Be happy to answer any question you might have.
Ready? On to customer service. Right?
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. It's a busy month in customer service. Our reports are on pages 18 and 19 of your board packages. And during the month of August, we processed approximately 7,335 calls and returned 1,301 calls as a result of our customer request callbacks through our automated system with an abandon rate of just under 3% for the month. We served 1,967 walk-in customers in both the service and billing departments combined, creating approximately 252 new accounts. A lot of that was due to students coming back for the fall semester. And we processed approximately 7,200 cashier transactions throughout the month. I'll answer any questions you may have.
Okay, thank you, Renee. Electric department. Scott?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. If you turn to page 20 of your board packet, you'll see that our setting number for this month, for the month of August, we had a total of 41 outages for the month of August. Most of those are storm related also as well. So our setting number is running right at 30. Remember, our national average is 90, so we're still well below the national average, so we're really comfortable with that. I think a couple of board members, a couple of meetings ago, we showed you all some pictures of one of the big projects we're doing, the East Main substation rebuild. So you can see a lot of the pictures of the demo. And so after the demo, we've completed all the demos, so now we're starting our phase of construction for the new section, new bay. So first slide here, real quick, I'll go real quick through and just let you know what's going on. This is our new transformer pad. It was part of the first steps. This is the crane they brought in to set the transformer. The funny thing about a crane, you see how big the crane is. It takes them took a little over 2 hours to set this crane up to even pick the transformer up. It brought 3 different tractor trailer trucks loads in of weights, slings, different things that they had to put on the crane, set the crane up to even pick the transformer up. Here's a picture of the transformer coming down the road. Of course, they're getting ready to back it into the lot. That transformer right there weighs right at 100,000 pounds. Just to give you an idea of how heavy it was. Picking it up, moving around. It took them a total maybe 10 minutes to set it on the pad. Again, remember, it took 2.5 hours to set the crane up, so it takes 2.5 hours to set the crane down. The next day after we set the transformer on there, we had to install the bike fins and the bushings on the transformer. The company we bought the transformer from had a representative on site to make sure that it was all installed properly. So now that's it for the big part. Now we're starting to put steel up, and we'll have some more pictures here in a couple of months to show you the progress.
Scott, is that a containment vessel there that I noticed it's sitting on a pad?
Yeah.
Is there oil or something in
That's
it?
part of our SPCC. It's a spill containment plan. New installations like that, we try to build containment pits. That pit is supposed to be big enough to hold all the oil in that one transformer. There's another transformer in the same substation bay. We're going to build a pit around it and pump all that oil, or let it flow gravel, naturally gravity-wise, to that one. So that pit's big enough to hold 2 transformers worth of oil. So if you had one to rupture or leak, that's supposed to catch the oil so you don't have it go in the ground. And that's really about the only thing we have left on our side of our substations that have oil in is our transformers. We've tried to get rid of all our oil breakers and other things that had oil, but so we're coming a long ways with that. So it's a big swimming pool right now. When it rains, it fills up. So.
All right. Is that it, Scott?
That's it for me.
Anybody question for Scott? No. All right, SEPA.
Mr. Chairman, for July of this year, we had a profit of $18,000 from the sale of our SEPA energy. Since its inception in 1997, we've had a profit of $10.4 million, as you can see on page 35. Again, I will advise the board that a new rate increase is coming for SEPA effective October the 1st. Their proposed rate increase was approximately 33%. They've been taking comments from the public for a couple of months. And what we have been urging SEPA to take a look at is not charging us for projects that are on the books, but waiting until they're actually in construction. And if SEPA goes along with our recommendations, that rate increase would go from 33% down to 7%. So we should know something pretty soon as to what SEPA has decided to do.
All right, any questions for Herbie on SEPA? Okay, next item is SEPA. Kim,
Hello.
good to see you back there.
I have one OSHA recordable to report this month where a custodial employee hurt his back while performing his housekeeping duties. There were no vehicle accidents.
Questions for Kim? Water distribution.
Yes, sir. Our reports are on pages 38 through 41. For the month of August, we installed 12 new services. We only had one main break in August and 2 outages. One was due to the break and the other was scheduled for maintenance.
I wanted to ask a question, not about your report, but would you refresh my memory on what the cost of installation for an ag meter is?
It's even for $600.
No, an ag meter changed. I don't
I had
have.
said we had it changed
Right.
within a couple of months, maybe? And I couldn't remember.
I don't have it in front of me. I don't know the exact cost right off the top of my head. But,
Okay, we'll check with you
okay,
later.
I can get that to you though.
But at
Thank
one
you.
point in time, it was 4, and I think we changed it to 6 on that.
I think
I'm
it's,
not gonna say
I
it's
think it's,
possible.
I think it's more than that. We
More than that
went to
now?
actual cost on them.
Okay.
Anything else? Billy? Water treatment plants. Chris?
Production was up slightly from 2014 in August. This month, the water treatment plant treated approximately 265 million gallons of raw water from the Kentucky River with an average daily demand of 8.6 million gallons. Recent observed low flow conditions of the Kentucky River have not triggered any action requirements for water conservation. Compliance of all federal and state water quality standards were maintained during this time. Any questions related to water quality, be glad to address them.
Questions from Chris?
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Headend Building.
Good evening. Thanks to the better stretch of weather, construction's been able to pick up the pace a lot better over the last couple of months. During the last month, the employee parking lot base course and curb work was completed. The sanitary sewer line was installed. Installation of electrical conduit continued, and the concrete walls continued to be constructed. Current activity includes continuation of those walls. As of today, or as of this morning, we have about 70% of concrete walls are now complete. In addition, the electrical contractor continues to install conduit, and the site work contractor, he's been off site for a little while, but he's back now, and he'll be redistributing topsoil and plans to start sodding and seeding along the perimeter of the job site. Upcoming processes you'll start to see, Marilla has divided the project into 3 phases for steel erection. If you know, we have an L-shaped building. So we have phase 1 will be the side that parallels Flynn or faces Flynn. Phase 2 will be the section that faces the intersection of Flynn and Sauer. And phase 3 is the side that faces Sauer. So now, this morning, they've also poured the floor slab for phase 1, which is the side facing Flynn. So you'll start seeing steel erection on that first phase. And then when they complete that phase, you'll see them start in the second, facing the intersection, and so on. If you're keeping up with your app, the Multi-Vista was on site last week to take photos. And if you've had an opportunity to view those pictures, you'll see that they're starting to tie those pictures into the floor plans. So if you click on a floor plan, you can click on that arrow and you'll be able to see a picture from that point of view. I am still working with GRW and Marilla to finalize the next change order. That next change order is going to include all the deductions that we've discussed, but we've had some little things come up here and there, so we're trying to compile a complete list before I bring the change order to you for review. And if you're in the board package, I put a few pictures in there on pages 42 through 44. Page 42, I wanted to just show you a picture of the pump truck that they're using to fill the walls in with. Page 43 is with my back to Sauer Boulevard. And page 44 is a view facing Flynn. My back is to the PSC building. You can kind of see the parking lot and where the walls are. And as far as schedule, we have had some delays. They are working to minimize those delays for the end of the project. They're working with the other subcontractors. That's part of why they're separating the steel erection into these 3 phases. Officially, as of today, they've requested 12 days due to weather. They haven't quantified the number of days it's going to be for any other issues now. So I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Is it 12 days associated with the weather, or is it associated with that change order that was, that modification?
Both. It is a change order, so it is with the weather, and that will be included in the change order because it's a change to the terms of the contract. So that 12-day extension isn't considered part of the change order.
So it's
12 days instead of 12 weeks.
12 days for now. That's what they're saying now.
But that's in conjunction with that change order
Yes,
itself.
yeah.
Okay.
So when I bring that second change order to you, it will be a line item on that change order.
The parking lot itself, is that what they wanted to do in essence of that change order? Is that, I'm looking at it now, man.
We ended up leaving it the same. So we've taken out some planter walls and some raised planter bedding around the landscaping, but for the most part, we left the rear entry. So there's minimal change as far as the parking lot. There's not a change order for that part.
Anything else, Mr. Mister? Thank you, Sherman. Headend.
Yes. Apparently, we're on schedule to have the ceiling put on the head end, the hardened portion of the building by October 16th. By then, all the concrete work should be done. Currently, we're averaging about 42 truckloads of fill a day for the retention basin and around the building.
Can you speak a little louder, Adam?
I'm sorry. Currently, we're averaging about 42 truckloads a day of fill that's being placed in the retention area and around the building. Hopefully, we'll stay on schedule, and most of the concrete work will be done by October 16th, and we'll have the hardened part of the facility finished or under roof at that time. I added some pictures in your board package. The first picture is the side of the building where the HVAC yard is. That is actually, by Thursday, that'll be complete. This is picture's about a week old. The next picture shows the footers for the office area. Those are in, except for one portion where the crane is, and the stem wall is there. And then the last picture on 47 is just an aerial picture that I've been adding to each month to the board package, so you can just kind of see a progress of the building as a whole. So.
That's good.
Members? Anything for Adam? Thank you, Adam. Agenda item number 4 is an action item. Consider adding a new authorized position in the Information Technology Department.
Mr. Chairman and members of the board, staff asked the board to consider approving a senior systems analyst position in the IT department. The position is needed to provide leadership in the design, development, and maintenance of our software-based solutions and assist the assistant IT director with our FPB's networks, including the network hardware, software, and customer premise equipment provisioning and installation. Funds were included in the current budget for this position, and based on the job evaluation and compensation plan, the pay grade for the position is $114 with a minimum salary of $34. Included in the detail pages, starting on page 48, are a copy of the proposed job description and a revised list of authorized positions for the IT department. I'd be happy to try to answer the questions that you have.
Let me ask this question, and it's the last statement. If approved, the position we post as the internal candidate and the candidates to apply. Is it the position that's going to be open entirely to the community?
I'm sorry?
Is it a position that's going to be opened up entirely to exterior as external?
Initially, this position is going to be posted for internal candidates. Whenever there's a vacancy, we look at the knowledge, skills, and ability required, and usually get input from the department. If we post a position and we can fill it with an internal candidate, then we wouldn't post it externally. Therefore, we wouldn't have the unnecessary expense of advertising for the position if we can fill it internally.
Okay. How many employees do we have to qualify to meet this position? Because this description seems to be pretty detailed with degrees and must have certain certifications. So is it specialized to a certain group of people internally? I mean, that's what I'm trying to understand, because we're creating a position, but we kind of limited to who could apply for it. That just kind of...
Well, we created the position based on the need of the department, and we do have, I think, 3 computer programmers, and I don't know specifically if all of them would meet the qualifications, but just based on a discussion with the department, they feel like we do have qualified candidates internally that would likely apply. And of course, if we didn't fill it internally, then we could, go from there at that point.
So you don't see any advantage of doing it both, going internal and external to delay it?
Well, with this particular position, the department feels, and I can understand where there would be a particular advantage to having someone who's already familiar with our systems and, you know, our networks and that kind of thing. So I think this is, you know, one of those positions where we would not normally, you know, post a position externally, at least initially.
Well, again, it's one of those situations where it's a position we're creating, and I feel like we should be able to open up to the external side up for consideration as well. But that's Arthur McKee's perspective on it now. I don't want to limit it to nobody. I don't want it to look like we're pre-selecting, pre-designing the position for anybody. That's, Mr. Chairman, that's my view on that. All right.
Any questions for Diane? And I see it is in the budget. All right, do we have a motion?
I move to approve adding the new authorized position in the Information Technology Department as stated in their action item.
I'll second it, excuse me.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'll second it. We have a motion, we have a second. Any discussion? We'll call for it. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no.
No.
Okay.
I explained that. Again, I feel like the position should be made external as well as internal, because the nature of the qualification limits to an adequate pool of people to apply for a position of this magnitude for employment with the Frankfort Plan Board.
Okay, well, let's call it by member then, since it's not unanimous. If you just, Dana, if you just call the members' names with each vote, yes is to authorize the position, no is to not authorize.
Member Ludwig?
Yes.
Member Welch?
Yes.
Member Green?
Yes.
Member McKee?
No.
Member Brodsky?
Yes.
Okay. Motion carries. Item number 5 is an action item. Consider approval of TiVo non-charter member election agreement with the NCTC.
Thank you, Madam Chairman, members of the board. Staff recommends approval of an agreement with the NCTC for membership in a TiVo non-charter master distribution agreement. This NCTC agreement has a term through July 1st, 2016. Approving this agreement will allow FPB to be part of this non-charter member group and commit to launch this product in the second half of 2016. The solution will give FPB the opportunity to compete in a world of multiple screens, time shifting, and lean forward viewing. TiVo will stack up well against FPB's satellite competitors' offerings of Hopper and Genie. It will allow for many advanced functions, including up to 6 simultaneous recordings, shared DVR playlists, embedded TV apps, remote DVR scheduling, and a companion mobile applications allowing for in-home and out-of-home streaming, as well as copying of DVR recordings to your device to take with you. Financial commitment is $10,000 this fiscal year. As for budgeted funding, there's $100,000 included in this in the new Headend budget in this fiscal year for the upgrade of existing VOD equipment. Because this product will not require the complete upgrade of the VOD equipment, staff proposes to utilize these funds for the TiVo project in this fiscal year and next. The ongoing expense for the TiVo product will come from subscriber fees for this product. The Assistant General Manager of Administration has reviewed this agreement and it meets with his approval. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have regarding this item.
Questions? If none, do we have a motion?
Move for approval.
Do we have a second?
Second.
A motion second, discussion. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed say no. Motion carries. Number 6 is an action item. Consider approval of the pole attachment agreements with Fibertech Network and the Commonwealth of Kentucky LedCor.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. As part of the state's many ongoing fiber projects, the Planning Board has been approached by 2 contractors seeking permission to attach to our poles. We are required by law to permit such attachments. Our Tariff provides a standard contract that we've used with Fibertech Networks and the Commonwealth of Kentucky in the past. Fibertech and the Commonwealth of Kentucky have executed their agreements. Staff recommends the board approve the pole attachment agreements with Fibertech and the Commonwealth of Kentucky / LedCor, who I think is a contractor who's actually doing the work for the Commonwealth. May also be interested to know these attachments aren't a cost to the plant board. They're a cost to the contractor, the Commonwealth, whoever wants to attach to us, whatever that fee may be. That's cost to them, not to us.
What, I didn't,
I'm sorry. I was just saying that all those costs will be to the Commonwealth or the contractors, whatever the case may be. The cost is not to us.
thank you.
Is this a revenue source for the plant board?
There are fees associated with it. There's an engineering fee. Once they tell us how many poles they need to attach it to, there's a set structure or set fee for that, as well as an annual fee, which I think is $7.50 per pole. So not a major revenue stream, but there are fees associated with it.
Who's responsible to take care of the equipment during storms and things like that?
We're responsible for the structure, for the pole itself, but the Commonwealth, Fibertech, whoever the case may be, they're responsible for their attachments to it. So we wouldn't, if it were to go down in a storm, we wouldn't reattach it. That would be on them.
Any more questions for Travis?
What type of service would be interrupted if it did go down? I mean, if they're putting it up, what type of services is interrupted at that point?
Yeah, I don't know that it's been explained entirely to us what they intend to do with this fiber. Part of it is part of I think it's Kentucky Information Highway or Kentucky Wired project, which I think is a state initiative to get fiber and broadband to communities that otherwise don't have any way to get that. But there would be no plant board services associated with that. It would all be to their customers, whoever they may be.
But it won't interrupt us, our customers, no way.
Right. No, it shouldn't. They're required just the same way we are to comply with the National Electric Safety Code. So all of their facilities would be up to code. So there's no issue there. And if they were to go down, it shouldn't take out our services. It's more or less we're providing them a path to come through, but we're not taking any services off of it.
Anything else for Travis? I move that we approve the pole attachment agreements with Fibertech Network, the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and LedCor.
Second.
Discussion. All in favor?
Is John Higginbotham in here tonight?
Yeah.
John, you have a comment about?
I was hiding. Yeah, just to be clear, today, I guess on plant board poles, there are probably as many as 3 or 4 communication companies already. The plant board, AT&T, Time Warner, probably some Windstream out there too. As I understand the Kentucky Wire project, they want to get some areas finished first. And the Lexington to Louisville to northern Kentucky is the very first thing. Most of the fiber's already there. I think this is more of a function. I don't know that they're going to put more fiber on the poles in this county. They may. But really this project itself is for deployment of backbone fiber, or as they call middle mile fiber, to more southeastern Kentucky. Those are the places in far western Kentucky. Those are the places that really don't have multiple providers. we're lucky in our community that, I mean, we serve our customers with multiple providers today. We buy our wholesale internet access from as many as 3 or 4 different companies today. If you go to our brother municipal in Barberville, he's got one. And so a project like this is really more for a location more like them, where they can maybe bring in other providers to have some ability to have some backup, some diversity, but also to bring competition and maybe bring the price of the wholesale cost of that broadband down. We hope the same thing happens here in Frankfort, that we'll have access to some middle mile wholesale broadband that we don't have access today from some providers that maybe can sell that to us a lot cheaper. And that'll be good for us and good for our customers in the long run.
That was the point I was wanting to make, is there's a possibility that we could be a customer and purchase some capacity off this line somewhere in the future.
Hopefully.
All right, well, we have a motion, and we've had a second, and any more discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion carries. Number 7 is an action item. Consider approval of revisions of tariff language to provide clarification and standardization of deposit for electric, water, and cable telecommunications services, and incorporate language for the use of utility scoring.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Following the public comments presented at the public hearing on tariff revisions at the August 18, 2015 board meeting, staff was asked to review concerns and respond to questions posed by Mr. Jeff Kell, property owner, and Ms. Paula Moore, president, Berry Hill Council of Co-Owners. Staff has reviewed the comments and concerns and prepared responses to Mr. Kell and Ms. Moore via letters, and those letters are represented in tab B, pages 93 through 96 of your board package. Staff has taken all questions and comments into consideration and does not recommend any changes to the previously presented tariff revisions. Staff recommends that the board approve the tariff revisions as written, effective October 1st, 2015.
I commend you for the letters which you wrote to those individuals who came to our
Thank you.
public hearing, spoke, had their concerns. I think it reflects well upon the staff that they take the trouble and do the research to justify the suggestions that you're presenting to the board. Ready for a motion?
I'll make the motion that we consider approval of revisions of a tariff language to provide clarification and standardization of deposits for electric, water, and cable telecommunication services, and incorporate language for use of utility scoring.
Second.
Motion second, discussion. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed say no. Motion carries. Agenda item number 8, action item, old new business.
We don't have any, Mr. Chairman.
Do we have any information items, general manager's comments?
No, sir.
Do we require a closed session tonight, Hans? We do. Chair requests permission to have a closed session pursuant to 61.810(1)C for the discussion of proposed or pending litigation against or on behalf of FPB, KRS 61.810(1)F for discussions which might lead to the appointment, discipline, or dismissal of an individual employee, KRS 61.810(1)B for the discussion of future acquisition or sale of real property.
Make a motion, we go into closed session?
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. In a few minutes, we'll continue with our closed session.